You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success. Welcome back, everybody, to Deep Dive. I'm excited to jump into another topic with all of you today. We're tackling something that I'm pretty sure every business owner listening in is thinking about pretty much all the time. How to turn leads into customers, loyal customers. And we've got a whole bunch of interesting stuff to go through on this one. Reports, case studies, even an online course.
Yeah, a whole mountain of information to get through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So buckle up, everyone. We're going to get into it.
I think one of the things that I've seen as like the biggest hurdle for most businesses is that over 60% struggle with even getting those high quality leads in the first place. And it's not just about, getting a bunch of leads, but actually finding those people that are most likely to become customers over the long term.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack if you're looking at the wrong haystack. But you know what's interesting is that even when you find those really promising leads, our research shows that almost half of qualified leads aren't actually ready to buy right away.
Yeah, and that's where having a really solid lead nurturing strategy can come in. The buying journey, it's not like a straight line, right? It's more like a winding road or a path with, different touch points along the way. Someone might, download an ebook today. Maybe next week they'll look at your social media. And then maybe months later, they'll finally make a purchase. So nurturing is really about staying connected and providing value during that whole journey.
So it's kind of like a long game then. You're kind of building trust over time. You're showcasing your expertise so that when they are ready to buy, you're the first business or person they think of.
Exactly. And that's what makes this all so interesting to me. One of the best ways to nurture leads is through automation.
Ooh, automation.
I know. But hold on. I know some people, when they hear automation, they just think of all those those math emails. That don't feel personal at all.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about, though.
Okay, good. Tell me more.
Okay, so imagine this. Someone visits your website and they click on a specific category. Based on that action alone, they're automatically put into this email sequence that delivers really relevant content about that product. So it could be tips, user stories, maybe even special discounts.
Oh, so instead of getting those same generic messages, the content is tailored to what they're actually interested in.
Right, and it can get even more fine-tuned than that. Let's say someone abandons their cart, which happens all the time online. You can have an automated email that reminds them about those items and maybe offers free shipping to kind of, nudge them along.
Oh, that's really clever. And it feels like you're actually trying to help, not just sending some generic, we miss you message.
Totally. And it works. Studies have shown that personalized emails like this can increase those click-through rates by up to 50%.
Wow, that's huge.
And that's really good because when people are clicking and interacting, they're moving down that funnel towards becoming those loyal customers we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so I can definitely see the potential here, but I have to say, setting all of this up, it sounds kind of daunting. Where do you even start?
Well, the trick is to start small and just focus on one or two things at first. Even just setting up a welcome email for all your new subscribers, that's a great place to start.
Okay, so not trying to do everything at once.
Exactly. And you're making a great first impression and setting things up for all your future communications.
Yeah, so you're picking a place where it'll really shine, and then as you get comfortable, you can expand to other areas.
Right, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I think we've covered a lot already. We've gone over the importance of finding good leads and then how cool automation can be. But before we get too deep into the how, let's take a minute and think about the why. Why is lead nurturing so important? What are we even trying to do here?
Well, the big goal is to take those leads that might have been forgotten and turn them into fans of your brand, people who will buy from you over and over again. And not only that, but who will tell all their friends about you.
Wow, so you're building a community then, not just a list of customers.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's a great way to put it.
It's all about community. But, let's be practical for a sec. All this nurturing takes effort, right? And as business owners, we got to know, is it working? How do we even measure if all this is actually paying off?
That's the million-dollar question. It's not enough to just, do the stuff. We have to track how it's actually impacting our business. So one of the most common ways is to look at your conversion rates.
Right. So how many of those leads are actually becoming customers?
Exactly. But we can get even more granular than that. We can look at those rates at different points in the sales funnel, like how many people who first inquire end up becoming what are called MQLs, marketing qualified leads. Those are the people who've shown a good amount of interest, and they actually fit your customer profile.
So you're not just like throwing a wide net out there anymore. You're starting to get to the fish that are most likely to bite.
Precisely. And then we can look at how many of those MQLs turn into SLs, sales accepted leads. Those are the ones your sales team is like, okay, these people are ready.
I see. So you're tracking them from that very first interest all the way to actually buying something. So you can see where things are working and where you might be, losing some potential customers.
Exactly. And if you see people dropping off at a certain point, that's where you dig in. Maybe your content isn't working or the sales follow-up needs work. All those clues are in the data.
It's like having a detective's magnifying glass to look at your whole process.
I like that. And along with data, there are other KPIs. Those are those key performance indicators that can give you a better picture of how your lead nurturing is doing. One that's super important is ROI, return on investment.
Of course, got to make sure all this is actually making money.
Absolutely. ROI helps you justify all that time and energy you're putting into lead nurturing. Another good one is the number of MQLs. That shows you how good your marketing is at attracting the right people.
So more MQLs, that's a bigger pool of potential customers.
Exactly.
And hopefully that means more revenue.
That's the idea. And to help make sense of all these numbers and data, I'd recommend setting up custom dashboards in your marketing automation platform. Most of them have that feature now, and it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, I love a good dashboard. It's like all these vital signs right in front of you.
That's a good way to put it. A good dashboard can track all your goals, show you where you can improve, and even let you know if there are problems before they get too big.
Okay, so this is all great, but even with all that, it still seems kind of overwhelming, especially if you're not like a tech person.
Right. But the good news is you don't have to be a coder or anything like that to use automation these days. The tools are really user-friendly, and there's so much help out there.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So for someone just starting out, what would you say is a good first step?
I think email marketing automation is a great place to begin. It's a pretty simple way to start those nurturing sequences we've been talking about.
Okay, so something that most businesses are already doing.
Exactly. You can set up welcome emails, send out content based on interests, even re-engage with people who haven't interacted with your brand for a while, and it's all on autopilot.
I like it. But what about those challenges we were talking about earlier? Like not having clear goals.
Yeah.
Problems with data, people just not wanting to change how they do things. How do you get over those hurdles?
Yeah, those are all really important. Let's go through them one by one. First, that lack of clear goals. It's super easy to get caught up in all the bells and whistles of automation.
So you're saying don't just jump in and try to automate everything.
Right. You got to think about what you're actually trying to achieve. Are you trying to get your name out there more? Or get more leads? Do you want to speed up your sales process? It all depends on your goals.
Like you got to know where you're going before you start driving.
Exactly. Okay, so once you have those goals in place, you got to make sure your data is good. I'm talking clean, accurate data. That's essential for automation. If your data is a mess, it's going to mess everything up.
Like trying to bake a cake with bad ingredients.
That's a good one. So spend the time to clean up your data, make sure it's integrated properly, and that you have good tools to manage it. Trust me, it'll save you so many headaches later.
Data hygiene.
Yes.
Okay, so what about getting everyone on board with automation?
That's where good communication comes in. Start by showing your team how automation can benefit them, how it can save them time, reduce errors, and hopefully lead to better results.
So it's not about replacing them, it's about making their jobs easier.
Exactly. And you don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Get your team involved and celebrate those early wins. That helps build momentum.
It's about creating a culture of experimentation, I guess.
I like that. Okay, so speaking of real-world stuff, our research had some interesting case studies showing how this automation can work.
Oh yeah, case studies are always good. They make things way more relatable.
For sure. One that stood out to me was this decor brand that was using an email campaign to engage customers. But it was all about mindfulness tips.
Wait, what? Mindfulness and decor.
Right. I thought it was weird too. But they did it so well. They sent out these really beautiful emails with calming images and all these helpful tips on creating a peaceful home. And then woven in were these subtle product suggestions that fit in with that whole mindfulness theme.
Oh, that's clever. So it's not just about pushing products. It's about creating a whole experience.
Yeah. And it worked. They got way more engagement, more traffic to their website, and of course, more sales.
Okay, that's going in my notes. Do you have another case study for us?
I do. This one's about a retail company that had a bunch of problems when they were setting up their CRM system, like data migration issues, customization problems, all that tech stuff.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
It was rough, but they didn't give up. They ended up hiring a CRM consulting agency.
So they got some help from the experts.
Yep, sometimes you need an outside perspective.
Absolutely.
And with the help from those consultants, they finally got it all working. They were able to customize it to what they needed. And that made their lead nurturing so much better.
It's good to remember that you don't have to do everything yourself.
For sure. Speaking of help, one of our sources mentioned this online course, Automations Made Easy.
Oh, yeah, that sounds really useful.
It's a step-by-step guide to automating your business.
Does it cover everything?
Pretty much. It goes over choosing the right tools, figuring out what tasks to automate, even how to make money from your automation skills.
Wow.
And I love that it's really practical and action-oriented.
So it's perfect for those of us who don't have a ton of time.
Exactly.
Okay, this has been really helpful, but I just want to make sure our listeners are clear on the big picture here. Why should they even bother with all this?
Well, the bottom line is, you can't ignore your leads these days. Every interaction matters. From that first website visit to when they leave stuff in their cart, it's all a chance to build a relationship and turn them into a customer.
It's like planting a seed and then never watering it.
I like that analogy. You put in all the work to get those leads, now you got to help them grow.
I love it. All right, I'm feeling inspired.
Good. And remember, even small changes can make a difference. So try one or two things we talked about and see what happens.
Yeah, don't get overwhelmed. Just start somewhere.
Exactly.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. While we've been talking, I was thinking about something you said earlier about how a lot of businesses still kind of think of sales and marketing as like two completely separate things.
Yeah, you're right. That is really common. But what's cool about lead nurturing is that it really brings those two together. It's where that marketing magic of connecting with people meets the sales focus of building those relationships and closing deals.
Yeah, so it's not just about like blasting people with ads or hitting them over the head with sales pitches. Yeah. It's about making it all feel smooth, guiding those leads through the whole journey with good content, personalized stuff.
Yeah.
And showing that you actually care.
Yeah, exactly. It should feel natural and helpful, not pushy at all. And what's great is that even small businesses with not a lot of money can do this stuff. They can compete with the big guys.
That's awesome. You don't need a huge marketing team or all this fancy technology to do it right.
Nope, not at all. All those tools are out there, and they're easy to use. Any business can use them to make things run smoother, personalize things, and, free up time to actually focus on building those relationships. That's what it's all about, right?
Right.
And hey, remember that online course, the Automations Made Easy one?
Oh, yeah, the one that's supposed to make you an automation pro.
Yeah, exactly. That could be a total game changer for someone running a small business who wants to take this lead nurturing thing to the next level, but they aren't sure where to even begin.
Sounds super helpful. Okay, so we've talked about what it is and how to do it, but I want to just really drive home the why one more time. Why should our listeners make this a priority? What's the big payoff at the end?
Well, there are a few big reasons. First, you got to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck, right, Lass? You've already put in the work to get those leads. So why not keep putting in a little effort to turn them into paying customers?
Yeah, it's like planting a seed and then just forgetting about it.
Perfect analogy.
You got to water it if you want it to grow.
Exactly. The second reason is you want to build up a group of customers who not only buy from you over and over again, but who also become fans of your brand and tell everyone they know about you.
Word of mouth is powerful stuff.
It is.
And those loyal customers, they're not as worried about price. They give you good feedback, and there's basically walking advertisements for your business.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And the third reason, you gotta stand out somehow. Everyone's getting bombarded with marketing messages all the time. But if you take the time to nurture your leads, you show them that you care about what they need and what they're interested in.
You're not just another company, you're someone they can trust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how you earn their loyalty. And you know what? It doesn't have to be complicated. You can start with small stuff that makes a big impact.
Like what?
Well, for starters, make sure you're sending a welcome email to every new subscriber. That first impression is so important.
That's easy to set up, too.
It is. The second thing is to divide your audience into groups based on what they're interested in or how they act online. That way you can send them content that's actually relevant to them. Like maybe you have a group of people who all downloaded a certain ebook or people who checked out a specific product on your site.
So you're tailoring the message to each person.
Exactly. And the third thing is use automation to send those targeted messages at the best possible time. Like you could set it up so an email goes out when someone leaves something in their cart or when they're looking at a certain type of product.
So you're using automation to make it better, not just make it feel like a real wow.
Think about it strategically. Now, the biggest thing is to just start somewhere. Pick one thing and try it out, see how it goes.
Don't wait until everything's perfect.
Exactly.
Love it. All right, everyone listening, go check out those case studies we talked about. They'll give you a look at how real businesses have used these strategies.
They're full of ideas that you can use in your own business. And they show you that this lead nurturing stuff actually works.
Okay, so we've talked about the power of lead nurturing. We went over the basics. We looked at tools and strategies, and hopefully gave you some ideas to try out.
Remember, every time you interact with a lead, it's a chance to connect with them, give them something valuable, and bring them closer to becoming a loyal customer. Don't waste those opportunities.
This has been awesome. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into something new and interesting. Until then, happy nurturing, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.